Hey guys, it's Jason Rideout, the youth minister at Greater Sanger Baptist Church. I just want to talk to you briefly today about honoring your mother, even when you don't like her. And that's a true thing. It happens in our life. You know, the Bible is our guide on how we live our life. Simply put, we use the Bible and the examples of the lives of the people that live in the Bible, and they show us how we should live according to the desires and the wishes of God. Now, the title of the youth message today is Honoring Your Mother Despite the Circumstances and Even How You Feel. So, according to Apostle Paul in Ephesians 6:2, it's where he's explaining to the church in Ephesus. That's a place that's located in northern Turkey. Now, he's talking about the fifth commandment of God that God gave to Moses. And Paul was saying that this commandment was in the first time in history where God attached a promise of blessing to the command. Now, Paul explained how this was unusual. It had never happened before. And he quoted the fifth commandment in this book, which is located in Exodus, the 20th chapter, 12th verse. And he was saying, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land, which the Lord your God is giving you. So since it's Mother Day, let's put all our focus on mothers. Now, this commandment, it tells you to honor your mother. Now, God was so serious about this matter that he included honoring your mother in a set of commands that were issued to the whole of mankind. God commanded you and I to honor our mothers. He didn't suggest it. He didn't request it. He didn't say that it would be a good idea to do this. He ordered it like a general ordering troops into battle. He didn't make it a request. It was an order. Now, God commanded us to honor our mothers, and yet he didn't set any condition on mothers to even deserve the honor. He didn't say they had to do this or they had to do that to earn it. They didn't have to earn the honor that was due to them. He commanded that we honor our mothers despite our feelings and despite our circumstances. Now, some of us were blessed with, we were born with great mothers, and some of us, they were great mothers, and they fed us, they could cook, they cleaned, they helped us with our homework, and it was easy to love them. And some of us got okay mothers, the ones that did exactly what needed to be done, but they had some flaws, and they weren't always able to pour into our lives the way that we wanted them to. They weren't always around. Now, some of us got leftover mothers, and that's the one nobody's asked for. And those were the mean ones, or the abusive ones, or the self-centered and petty ones. Sometimes mothers that were confused and they yelled a lot, and they hit you and smacked you over the head, and that's a reality. Things like that happen. Not all mothers are virtuous examples of Proverbs 31 women. And even if your mother wasn't or isn't the best mother, or for that matter, even the best human being, forgive her. Honor her. God has commanded it so. Now, I was the child of a prostitute. I was given away like trash. I was given into a foster home where I was physically and sexually abused. And I feel like I had plenty of reason to be angry, plenty of reason to hate my mother for not protecting me, for not loving me. But God set me free from all of that and put me on a path of service to him. And I've come to know, respect, and even tell my birth mother that I loved her. Now, how could I have come to love the woman that gave me away? Because of the love of Jesus Christ placed in my heart by God. And I am God's child. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, in whom he is well pleased, and I am called to his service, and so are you. But what if we don't have the best relationship or even agree with our mothers? What if you and your mother currently don't see eye to eye? What if in the case of the extreme, you have a dishonorable mother? She ain't living right. Should you still honor her? How do you honor her? So let's examine the issue, and we're going to do it in kind of three parts. So first, what does it mean to honor your mother? Honor means to respect or to assign high value or worth to someone. It does not mean that you'll always like them or even agree with them. From birth until death, we are all individuals, and we have our own thoughts, our own feelings and emotions. Conflict is bound to happen. But like death, taxes, it's inevitable. Conflict will arise. But just because we honor someone doesn't mean we have to become a carbon copy of that person. We're not asked to be like that person, but we're required to respect and honor them despite our differences. Now, this commandment It takes effect from the time you were born until the time we meet Jesus or the devil, depending upon where you're going to end up. And hopefully you're not going to end up, hopefully you're not going to end up with the devil. But if you follow the advice that I'm giving you, it will most likely be Jesus in the afterlife. So we are to honor our parents, even if they're not even living anymore. That's kind of wild to me. I mean, my mother has been passed since 2014, but I still honor my mother, even though she's no longer living. Secondly, let's look at some practical ways to honor our mothers. First is submission. The submission is the act or fact of accepting or yielding to someone, authority to another person. See, submitting your mother's will and her authority. In Luke 24, Luke the second chapter, 41 through 51st verse, it tells us how Jesus at the age of 12 was, Jesus now is the physical manifestation of God in flesh. Here he is at 12 years old. He lingered in the temple and he was lost briefly from his parents. But when they found him teaching in the temple, they commanded he come back with them to Nazareth, back home. And he submitted to their will. He still submitted to his parents' authority, even though they didn't know or could understand the reason for everything that he did. Colossians 3:20, it says, "Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is pleasing to the Lord." So obey your mother's instruction unless it violates God's word. God desires obedience over everything. Now, we tend to assume what we want to do is the most important thing in our life at any given time. But here's an example that obedience is pleasing to the Lord. These scriptures are showing you the example. But honor your mother by never verbally or physically assaulting her. Now, I've seen this on television. I'm personally confused and even embarrassed by children that are verbally or physically abusive to their parents. Now, when I was young, I lived in a state of perpetual belief that if I spoke too loudly or turned my back on my mother, she would rain down fire from heaven and instantly kill me with a comb or a butter knife or a shoe or whatever she could grab and end my disobedient life. The Old Testament law required death of anyone who violated this law of honoring your mother. God took it very seriously then, and he still does today. Share in everyday responsibilities. That's something else you can do. Clean your room, wash the dishes, take out the trash. As the mother would say, earn your keep. That's what my mother used to tell me. Now, isn't it amazing how quickly kids learn how to use smartphones and drive their car, but they never really seem to learn how to use a vacuum cleaner or a lawnmower? That's kind of crazy. Deuteronomy 21:18-21 speaks about a lazy son being stoned to death as a righteous end to a lazy and rebellious child. Next, don't blame your mother for all your problems. Take responsibility for yourself. I've seen how people, and I know people in their 50s that still blame their mother for all the bad decisions in their life. If you have bad or poor examples of parents at home, then learn from their mistakes. Trust that God will allow you to succeed where they have failed and move on. Listen to your mother's sound advice. Proverbs 1:5-7 declares the wise to listen to the sound advice, but fools despise it. Now, my 22-year-old daughter called me the other day and she said that, "You remember all that stuff you used to tell me about life and making mistakes? You were right." And as a parent, this was sweeter than diabetic eating a sugar cane. So, your mother and your father have bumped their heads a few times before. And just like you, they've done it before. So hopefully listen and heed their counsel. Now, always look out for your mother's interests. Joshua 2:12-13, Rahab negotiated a deal that would spare not only her life, but the life of her parents as well. She wasn't content with her parents, until her parents had been protected. Assist your mother financially if you need to, and if you're able to do so. 1 Timothy 5:3-4 tells us that it is a children's responsibility to provide care for their aging parents, and that in this it is pleasing to God. Now, when you become an adult, leave home. In other cultures, it's commonly acceptable that children stay until they get married in 30s and 40s. But in this culture, it's more acceptable for the children when they become an adult to leave home. This means you have to leave home physically and financially. Your mother has done her job and made sacrifices. Her happiness is to see her grown children become productive members of society and living on their own. Remember, remember that your mother has her own dreams and wishes. But also remember that it's great to celebrate your mother's special occasions, her birthday, anniversaries, holidays, and other things. Sometimes you just need to say hello. Remember your mother. One quick, simple word means a lot. Communicate, call your mother, talk to her, spend time talking to her about what she believes and what she thinks, and find out what her dreams and wishes are. You know, sometimes you just have to go by in person or by phone or text or keep up with on social media, but stay in touch. This is very important. Pray for your mother. She may have struggles and challenges in life that you don't have. Pray for your mother. There's another one that's really important. Forgive your mother. None of us are perfect. Now, you may never know the heavy burden of raising a child, and you may never suffer feelings of failure. And most mothers try their best. And whether her failure was intentional or not, forgive her for her failures and bless her for your existence. Psalms 27:10 says, when mothers are, it says, when mothers forsake me, when they hurt me or they abuse me or they disappoint me, the Lord will care for me. So even if we have a mother that wasn't truly, 100% there for, the Lord is there for you. Psalm 68:5 says that God places the lonely individual into a family. It may be a natural family, an adopted family like mine, an extended family, or his church family. God desires to be everything your mother was not. In an extremely difficult situation, the best way to honor your mother is to simply keep, if your mother is involved in a lot of craziness and drama, sometimes it's just simply best to keep your distance and avoid the drama. But never stop praying for her and looking for ways to bless her. Now, even if the person that is your mother makes it difficult to honor them as an individual, always honor their position as mother. And in doing so, you will honor God as well. All mothers deserve to be honored. The Bible commands that you honor your mother. So let's honor our mothers on this Mother Day. Honor her with your words. Honor her with your life. Honor her with dinner and flowers. Honor her with your worship to God. Honor her with your commitment to make your life be all that God had envisioned it to be. A life in service to God and a life filled with joy and happiness. So let's all honor God today. God wants our obedience. He wants our time. He wants our love. He wants our worship, our praise, because He is worthy of it all. And in so doing, we shall know true joy and happiness. So brothers and sisters, young ones, honor your mother. She deserves it.